Pre-season's over. It's time to reveal our teams. Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. How you doing, mate?
Very well, mate. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Can't wait.
2 days. Well, deadline 2 days. Yeah, I'll be seeing you tomorrow, mate. Game of golf. Cannot wait.
Game of golf, fest on Friday, mate. Can't wait.
Excellent. Excellent. We're almost there now. Pre-season's done. All the games are done. Are you there? Are you there? Is this team it, or are we depending upon team leaks and whatever?
I think we're always a little bit dependent on team leagues. I've probably got a maximum of 3 changes I'll be looking at. So keeper, which we're going to talk about in a second, I'm not 100% sure on. Martinelli isn't in my team. I'll tell that now, but it's still one that's really playing on my mind of, do I try and work him in? And I think from the City team leaks, if we get there, I want to have an Ortega plan, just in case.
Yeah.
I want to have a Vardiol plan. If we find out he's just immediately in and starting at 5.0, might sway me.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not so prepared. I've got tomorrow morning with a flight and stuff, so I can finalise those little mini decisions. But as you say, like, keepers is one that we need to consider, and that's interesting that you're thinking about Ortega, even if he starts, because does that mean he's first choice? Maybe, maybe not. Do you want to just go straight into it? Because I think a lot of people now, on the back of, like, obviously Matt Turner's here we go off to Forest, we've got rotating keepers. Like, and I despite teaching you about rotating keepers, I hate it now. So
I absolutely hate it. I hated it last season with Kepa and Raya. Didn't like it. Really didn't. Didn't often get it wrong, to be fair, but didn't like it. You never enjoy it like that.
Yeah.
It's just something else in your week that you don't enjoy. And then Turner comes in, and obviously there's a chance that he comes in and isn't first choice because they're still looking at Henderson. But I think we have to assume he is, and he's a good keeper. So we're all going to put Turner in our teams. The question is what does it mean? Because we're seeing 3 keepers, aren't we, really, that sit with him?
Yeah. So Johnston, Onana and Pickford. One thing I do enjoy about Turner at the moment is because he hasn't moved, there's so many people tripled up on Arsenal that can't do anything right now. They can't even lock him in, which is quite funny. Where do you want to start? Which is the least likely, do you think? Is it Onana with the money? Or is that the easiest one to talk about first?
Yeah, let's Onana with the money, because that's more spending.
Yeah. So, United. So how this works is the keepers will rotate. They have good fixtures, and then the next keeper will have a good fixture, etc., etc. So with this rotation of Onana and Turner, you're looking at Wolves at home, Sheffield United at home, Forest at home, Chelsea away, Burnley at home. That Chelsea away is for Forest, by the way. Burnley at home, Burnley away, Palace at home, Brentford at home. So you're looking at, in terms of the good versus bad fixtures, you've got 5 for Onana and 3 for Turner. But would you actually play Turner?
Exactly. Like, if you're going to spend, imagine the world where you spend 5 million on a keeper and you still don't play him. It
makes no sense.
It doesn't feel right. It makes no sense to me. The game week 2, home to Sheffield United, feels so good because they've got so little in attack that I can see past that and just say, yeah, it's good. And it's kind of a little bit of a cover play because everybody with Pickford and Johnston will have it as well. So I think everyone, no matter who you pick, I mean, Turner's going to be like 90% owned in game week 2, isn't he?
Well, I mean,
because everyone's going to play him.
Yeah, true.
It's going to happen. It might not be quite that much because he's only 3.4% owned as we go into today.
I was going to say that right now, but a lot of that, as I mentioned already, is because like people can't get to him, and also you see that a lot of people are still on Areola at the moment, and whether that's because they think he's going to take Fabianski's place at some point, or whether that's just the nature of log in who's the highest owned 4 million keeper, I want him, which is actually probably the worst thing to do because you're almost certainly going to get a 3.9 million keeper in a few weeks.
Exactly. Areola, could fall for the absolute floor. Yeah. But So then basically what you are then saying is I probably would end up playing Onana away to Arsenal. So I'm admitting one bad fixture, and I'll play them home to Brighton, and Brighton score goals, so they're not good fixtures. I still would play Onana home to Brighton rather than play Turner home to Burnley.
Yeah. And that was
So
one
you
thing.
look at it from that and you're like, but I do play back in my brain that says you still there got 5 really good home fixtures playing for Man United. They're good at home. In any one where he keeps it clean, it could be 10 points.
Yeah.
It could be easy in it. And so he's still there at the moment for me while I make a decision. But the only thing I like about it, if I'm honest, is that it's not rotation. It's just play Turner in 2. Rest of it, just sit with Onana and just let it ride out.
Play Turner in 2 because Onana's away at Tottenham. That's a Tottenham play rather than anything else, isn't it?
It's an everything play, isn't it? It's a Tottenham play. It's an ownership play. It's the lot.
Yeah,
it's the lot.
So moving over to Johnston then.
Yeah.
So these fixtures, it would be Sheffield United away, Sheffield United at home, Brentford away, Wolves at home, Burnley home, Fulham home, Brentford home, Forest home. So
it's a proper rotation, this one.
This one feels like a proper rotation because the bad fixtures are bad. If you go Arsenal away, Arsenal home, United away, Chelsea away, Villa away, City away, United away, Palace away. Well, obviously that Palace Forest game is game week 8. But yeah, it's a proper rotation and you have to trust that you're going to actually do it. Right? And commit to it.
Yeah, I think so. And I've seen it a lot on Twitter, and everyone says, "I'm going with Johnston. I'm just going with Johnston." And I'm like, I don't think you are going with Johnston. I think you're going with Johnston and Turner in this one because it is a rotation. And I think people say, "Well, I don't really like rotating kids." Like, fine, but you go pick him when he's away to Villa, and you go pick him when he's away to United, and then you sit and hide behind the sofa because the other guy you've got has got 2 really good home games. It actually puts me off. It's weird, like Johnston and Areola almost feels nicer to me, despite that it's not. Yeah. And if you don't really like Johnston, but you're thinking, hey, I'm offsetting that with some good fixtures, understand that the transfer window doesn't close to after game week 3, and therefore he might not play those game week 5 and game week 7. We don't know.
Yeah.
You might be stuck, with Johnson. It might not be right. Saying that, I think Palace is a good defence. I think Johnston's a really good keeper. He was fantastic on the weekend. I'm cool with it, but I just think his people need to be like, how comfortable am I with that game week 5, game week 7 space? Where would I be? So you're really comparing apples with apples in terms of what you would be facing into. If you think I'm just going to play Johnston all the time, well, then compare it to the next one we're about to look at, which is the Pickford rotation.
So yeah, the Pickford rotation: Fulham at home, Sheffield United at home, Wolves at home, Sheffield United away, Burnley at home, Brentford away, Luton at home, Bournemouth at home.
So it's 6 aways in this one. 6 home games, sorry. 6 home games in this one. Only using Turner in the game week 2 when everybody else is. So realistically, other than that, you're just using him in that game week 5 because they're home to Arsenal.
Which I'm actually, and I'm on Pickford and I'm actually okay with that. These, again, committing to a rotation just feels a bit odd for me now. Yeah,
if Turner wasn't first choice by then, you still got a home game at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's just the home games are there, and Sheffield United's one of the 2 away games you're facing into. It looks great, but it is Everton. And it's almost like we don't really trust Everton, but we trust Dyche, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit like that. And we're just hoping that a pre-season has allowed him to sort of shore things up. Although they've had a bit of trouble at the centre-back position as well. I saw someone came off, didn't they, in the last friendly or something like that? Tarko or something like that came off.
Tarko came off, but just a small knock.
Yeah.
But
Dwight
McNeil's out, and he's a big influence, Dwight McNeil, on that team. And I'm like, is the ball just going to keep coming back? And yeah, I'm just not sure. But I do look at it and say, hey, Fulham at home, who I've got all sorts of issues. Sheffield United at home in game week 2 for Turner. Wolves at home in game week 3. Sheffield United away in game week 4. We might even be wildcarding by game week 5 anyway. But, when I spoke to Jan the other week and he was talking about, sort of decay and thinking about value your first game more than go forth. As an opening 4, you can't really ask for more than that. And even after that, even if you do go Forest and you go Burnley at home and then Brentford away, then Luton at home and Bournemouth at home, if you're a fixtures person, this is the one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Certainly is. I mean, you could argue... No, you probably couldn't, actually. Yeah, no, this is the one. I was wondering about Brighton, just because those first 3 are so good, but it does come into an absolute stinker. If you can ride the Newcastle game in Brighton, then Steele and a Turner.
But how can you trust it? You just can't trust. Not with Verbruggen sitting
there. Verbruggen's just sitting there.
Not compared to Johnston. He said that Guaita's not the number 2 anyway.
Oh, no, he's gone. Yeah, he's come out and said, like...
So they're safe. They're so safe, Pickford and Johnston. I wouldn't be mucking around with Steele. For me, it's one of these 3 keepers, and it's whether you want to spend the extra on Onana. And again, that might still then come back to what the rest of the team looks like.
Yeah.
But
I think with Pickford as well, for me, and it's only a very small amount of money, right? 0.5 here. But if you're someone that's looking to get to Salah, then you need as much money as you can get elsewhere, right? 100%. So there's sacrifices you have to make elsewhere. And I think that 0.5, and you'll see in my team, that 0.5 will go a little bit further, even though I've still got it in the bank. But I've got it in the bank, whereas I could spend it on Onana and then, I may be priced out of moves elsewhere. So, which I'm already struggling with a couple at the moment. But
and even if you haven't got Salah, Praz made the comment on the wire earlier in the week is having the 4.5 keeper, not having it tied up there, does mean that if somehow you do need to get to Salah or do need to get to Trent, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah,
but
just a touch.
Because you're not there. So I think if you're doing the Onana one, you're basically got to really commit to it. I'm really torn. I've tried to keep the money in at the back there, just in case I need to go down, and take it somewhere else. So Onana's just been sitting in the team the whole time. I'll see how I feel come Friday, but it's still Onana for me at the moment. I'm siding towards on the 4.5s Pickford a bit more than I was. I kind of assumed I would go Johnston if I was going that way. But when I look at it like this, I really like Pickford and Turner rotation. I think it works nice.
Fair enough. Just before we go and look at our teams, want to just say thank you again to everyone who's watched our preseason content. We've got like 11 hours of preseason content, which is the most we've ever done by far. We've really enjoyed it. We've had lots of great guests on. We've done a couple of solo pods as well, which has been fun. And we're sort of accumulating it all, and it all sort of comes to this like meet up at the end with deadline fun and all this sort of stuff. And we will be doing our off the weekend podcast on Monday this week, most likely. Maybe Sunday if I can squeeze it, but Monday most likely. And we'll be doing one every single week. So, thanks again. Hit like if you do enjoy our content. Go watch all of our preseason content, which is in a nice handy playlist for you. And if you want to see more from us, subscribe. Over 5,000 now. So we can forget that. Now. We can put that to the side and say, let's get to 10. Let's get to 10K. Let's push towards that.
Let's do it.
Start with you, mate. You want to read your team out for everyone?
I'll read my team out. So currently Onana in goal. Turner, as we mentioned, the bench keeper. I'm starting at the moment. The back 3 is a Stupinan, Gabriel, and Chilwell. I've got 5 across midfield: Saka, Bruno, Matoma, Maddison, Rash, and then the warm blanket up top of Haaland and Watkins. I've got 4.5 on the bench, which is our boy Destiny. And then, 4.0 Kabore and Mabama, the West Ham guy. Might be the old Sheffield United's forward. I'll definitely have a little tinker once we hear a bit of press conference or stuff like that. If we get any kind of inclination. There's a better option there, but
You just want some starting
who
4.5
cares?
meter, 4.5 million striker that's not going to drop in value. That's really what you want, isn't it?
You do.
You just want the
You
lowest
do.
owned one.
You
Basically.
kind of do. You kind of do, but you also think that obviously a lot of wild cards will get played. So if you do have one that could play, you can actually even gain some value early on, even if they then, dump themselves out by that time. So I am still going to keep an eye on it because you never know. Is if we get one that we think is going to start. So what's his name? Asula at Sheffield United. It looks like he might start. And he's got Palace first up and then Forest away. So it's not the worst fixtures. So, yeah, Asula might end up being my 4.5 striker.
Okay.
God, that's dull conversation, isn't it?
I mean, talk about let's talk about the ones that maybe there's some differences between myself and you. You're obviously double United midfield, Watkins up top, and Chilwell at the back. Those are the three. I mean, we've already spoken about the keepers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still some dilemmas. There's still some dilemmas in here. So I really don't like not having João Pedro. I really don't like it. I think he's, I think he's an absolute gift to this game. And I hate the idea of not having any Brighton start. And so, yeah, I've ended up with Matoma. I watched them back a bit. They're quite long ball now, Brighton. They'll probably hate for saying that. We'll call them a direct attacking team. They are quite direct.
No, you can't do that. You used to call Liverpool long ball for the same thing. So
it's direct attack. It's get forward really quickly. And I do think, that really does play into Matoma more than anyone else on that pitch. And so I really want to attack it with Matoma. I couldn't see a way past it. So I know we've got on the 6.5 some penalty players in Bumo and Eza, but I just can't look past Matoma. I really can't. You want to have the players you enjoy playing. I like it. And Ollie, I love that glue guy, that guy that just sits up top and you can just go, yeah, he's good. He'll be there for a long time.
I mean, there's no transfers in your forward line at all. Like there's no transfers there. None.
No, there's not. I've got Maddison as well over either a second 6.5. I've got 0.5 in the bank here. So I will have a bit of a decision to make around Maddison versus Martinelli. I have also got a sneaky eye on Jota in game week 2. Like if he looks so good in game week 1, like I think he's looked in pre-season, there is a wild punt on it. I thought, well, if I was to go there, where would I go? And the options are probably Bruno or Maddison are my two ways in which I was go there. And I was like, if I think it's going to be Maddison that would make way for it, then maybe I should start Martinelli and then make it even harder for myself. So Mad's spot is probably up for grabs, but I just don't see that. Again, there's just a bit of love in this, with it. I love Matoma, I love Mads.
Play the players that you like to watch play football. And
it's a bit similar on the Chilwell. I like the player. Got vice captain now. What he's got on there, he just looks super fit. Looks bigger than I've seen him in a while. Yeah, he's taking corners. I just don't see a huge reason why I wouldn't want to just play him every week. Albeit there's no City defense.
Yeah,
and so my tempters are, so if Vardiol plays, I could do Destiny up to Vardiol and then maybe bench Chilwell, but I just don't want to bench him. So I suspect I'll ignore that one. And Destiny's there really as I think he'll play. Would I be surprised if in the first couple of weeks he had some goal scoring involvement? No. Would I be surprised if he cleaned? Yes, I would be. But if he, shows what we've seen in pre-season about how attacking he's been and he scores a goal, well, by the time the good fixtures start to roll in game week 3, he might be 4.6, 4.7, and then he's just not such an easy switch from other players. So I'd rather just have him there in my team. I suspect, he's going to be there for a while. So there's a little bit of bias, a little bit of fun, but ultimately, it's still quite template.
yeah, there's the Udogi thing is a bit of bias, but ultimately there is, we can see we're both trying to put logic behind it, at least.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the reason that I've got him in. So should we move to me?
Go to you, mate.
So, and I've gone like straight in with him. So same reasons he's in there, because I've imagined that people will flock there game week 3, game week 4 as wild cards start getting played. So I got Pickford in goal. I've got Estupinan, Gabriel, and Udogi at the back. I then got Saka, where there's a little captain's armband there right now, just because that's how I like to play.
Tasty.
I have Salah, I have Eze, but he could become March potentially,
Wow.
or Mitoma. I think March is coming back now to fitness. He had a few minutes in the last game, and he's getting some minutes under his belt, so that's good. Whether De Zerbi starts him, I don't know, but that's just a wait and see for me. The discussion around Palace's fixtures is maybe why I might go Mitoma as well, because I'm just looking at plans. I'm going to free up money anyway in game week 3. My plan is to move off Salah in game week 3, so I will free up money anyway. So there's going to be a second transfer in there. If it's Eze, then why am I just picking the Sheffield United game when I might as well pick the home to Luton game in a team that I know that's creating shit ton more chances? So
that's my problem.
Yeah.
Repeatedly over it again, because actually you look at these teams and you're like, they're all really good players. Like, how many transfers are we really going to make? And therefore, on these 6.5s, I can't help myself. I just keep coming back to, I want a piece of it. I want as much of a piece of it as possible.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to hear that, because obviously you've got Pedro up front, but the idea that you just go big.
Yeah, go big from the start. So Maddison, same as you. I've got Rashford, but no Bruno. And then Haaland and João Pedro up top. I've got Turner in there at this point. I've got Colwill, because he will start with Badiashile and Fafana injured, as we know. Kabore and Mbama the same. Again, these guys could change depending on popularity and whatever else. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm earmarking that Salah money elsewhere as well. So, and it's an almost certain role in game week 2. So I don't have to worry about, populating a spot for a Liverpool player against Bournemouth, because I've got a ready-made captain just sitting right there. And it does sound weird that I might not captain Haaland until game week 3, but I might not. I mean, they aren't as good away from home as they are at home. They're still one of the best team. They're still the best team in the league, but you never know. You never know. So that might just, depends on how many beers I've had by that point. I think on Friday, it's definitely going to be beer related. I'll leave it on Saka, and then what will happen is I'll get so pissed by 6:30 I'll forget to actually change it over or something like that. But
it's a good play. It's a good play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. So that's how I'm set up at the moment. I like it. Udogi's in for the same reasons as you mentioned. I've got 500,000 in the bank as well. I don't really need it if I'm going to free up money from Salah. So
I think, again, similar world though, that 500,000, if people were looking at Salah drafts a few weeks back, there was always something that was having to give on it. And this hasn't got stuff to give. The only thing that I've seen people sort of point at with it is the João Pedro thing of saying, well, where do you go? But Wissa's right there. Wissa's right there if you needed to. With 500,000 in the bank, you can simply go straight to him from João Pedro if it looks a bit dicey. You've got an out.
Yeah.
So I think that 500,000 in the bank, if you can do it, is sensible. Like it. Really like it. Similar as what I said earlier about the Vardy thing. If, though, you got the league he was playing, would you be tempted to maybe look at one of Udogi or Colwill and put him in?
I could be tempted. I'm more the player that I'm more worried about not owning is Chilwell, actually, and I'm probably 500,000 short of that, which is the only thing that worries me. So like a Rashford to Bruno may be an option. I don't like. I like that more than a Saka to Martinelli to make that work.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. What if you did end up on Mitoma as well? I don't hate the idea that you hedge a little and maybe even moved it a Estupinan there. to Chilwell.
Yeah.
But rather than potentially after game week 3 thinking I might want to start moving a few of these out.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't want 3. So if it does go to Mitoma, then yes, a Stupinan can be easily enough. But then that means I'm definitely playing a Chelsea player against Liverpool, which I don't really like.
No, and I don't think it's a big deal waiting on Chilwell to game week 3. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. Is again, you have to look. If I was on Bumo in my team, I might have considered more moving off of Chilwell on someone else and letting him go for the 2 weeks. Because I think maybe Mitoma might be the one I'm looking to move. I can see me going Mitoma to Bumo in game week 3. I think that's definitely a possibility. So, that when it gets to game week 3 for you've got the Palace game at home. I mean, look, they've got West Ham at home and they look not in the greatest shape at the moment. So I'm not expected to. But you then move into, a nice little run for Bumo of Bournemouth at home. Newcastle's away is not the greatest. Then home to Everton, away to Forest. They got home to Burnley in 9. So I think Bumo certainly, although I'm going to steer clear of the first 2 game weeks, I can see why people are going with him from the start. And I think I probably will end up there.
Nice. Well,
these look good, don't they? Like
they're good.
This is probably the thing is, I haven't seen many bad teams, mate.
No, they're all good teams. They're all good teams, and we're all going to blame variance on Saturday morning with sore heads and whatever else. It's just
absolutely.
Oh, not Saturday morning because there'll only be 1 game played at that point. But
yeah,
Sunday morning, whatever.
Still will, isn't it? Like that Haaland, opening game. It's going to be.
If he I mean, this is it. This is this don't trust the early kickoff thing. If he blanks, like everyone's just going to be watching and thinking, well, everyone's going to be posting like this. We're all in this together type fucking gifs everywhere, aren't they? That's so.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt because it hurts everyone type thing. And there's going to be a bunch of people on Saka captain that are just sitting there, little sip.
But they've still got the early kickoff on Saturday.
Early kickoff on Saturday. Game week's over by 3 o'clock on Saturday.
A lot of it is over by game week by 3 o'clock on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Want to make any wild calls for the first week in terms of results, and we can revisit on the weekend. What's your surprise result of the weekend?
Surprise result of the weekend. I've got to remind myself of all the fixtures because I'm that well prepared that I don't actually know what all the fixtures are off by heart. So my surprise result of the weekend is going to be Sheffield United win 2-0 at home to Palace.
You can take that. I am going to say that Villa put 3 past with Newcastle.
I like it. No Watkins bias whatsoever.
Absolutely zero.
Oh,
we all kind of need it. Like Trippier is still 35% owned.
Yeah, but not by serious managers. Surely, not yet. Not until like game week 5. Surely.
We'll see how it goes.
Cool, man. Right, good chatting. Pre-season's done, and I will see you tomorrow.
Locked in, mate. Get the padlocks out. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.